This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. It's a great day to be in Columbus. It's a great day to be in Georgia. It's a great day to be in America. As your United States representative in Washington, representing 30 counties in Middle and Southwest Georgia, I am proud to be supporting the Kamala Harris-Tim Walz team for President and Vice President of the United States of America. They represent a new way forward for all the people of America. Lower prices, stronger economy, peace and security, reproductive freedom, affordable, accessible health care for all, educational opportunities, diversity, equity, inclusion, democracy and not dictatorship. Kamala Harris has always been for the people. As a DA in San Francisco, she was for the people. As Attorney General in California, she was for the people. As a United States Senator, she was for the people. As Vice President of the United States, she has been and is for the people. And as President of the United States, she will be for the people, all the people of America. She has chosen a great American to be her vice presidential running mate, who is here with us today. Governor Tim Walz, fighting for families and fighting for working people. He's a plain-spoken country boy born in Nebraska, grew up on a farm in Nebraska. He served his country in the Army National Guard, did his training right here at Fort Benning, now Fort Moore. He's a patriot, a veteran, a husband, a father. He was a school teacher. He was a coach. He was a member of Congress from a red state. I served with him in the United States House of Representatives for 12 years. He served on the Agriculture Committee. He served on the Armed Services Committee. And he took care of our military personnel, our veterans and their families. He left Congress to become the governor of the state of Minnesota. And a great governor he has been. He's highly respected by Democrats and Republicans, by governors of both parties. His background, his experience, his values, they reflect the values of the people of Georgia. God, country, work, family, freedom, opportunity. Harris and Walz are taking us. They're taking on Trump and Vance, and they're taking on Project 2025 that Trump and Vance are trying to put on us. They want to abolish the Department of Education. They want to eliminate Head Start. Project 25 will end federal civil service job protections and have loyalty oaths to the president and not to the Constitution. They want to allow the president to take over the Department of Justice and put the president over the laws and the Constitution. They want to take away your freedoms, voting rights, reproductive rights, rights for our children in schools to learn an accurate account about the history of our country. They want to take away the rights that you have to be who you are and to love who you want. They want to take us back. They want to take us back 4 years. They want to take us back where we were 40 years ago. But we are not going back. We ain't going back. We're going forward, a new way forward. Columbus, we're going forward. Georgia, we're going forward with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and Democrats up and down the ballot. We are going forward. One more thing. With less than a week until Election Day, nothing could be more important than ensuring that Donald Trump never stands behind the presidential seal again. We did it in Georgia in 2020, and we must do it again in 2024. We won this state by less than 12,000 votes in 2020. That was less than 4 votes per precinct. We cannot lose this election. We must win. When we vote, we win. Every single vote counts. So we must vote early, and we must vote in person. Let's get your friends, get your neighbors, get your church members, get Junebug and Sally Mae and Mary Jo and Uncle Mose and Keisha and everybody we know and can touch. We've got to get out and vote. We must vote like our lives depend on it, because they do. Our children and our children's children and our children's 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 children, their lives depend on it. Our democracy depends upon it. I now want to present to you my friend and colleague here from Columbus, Georgia, our esteemed state representative, the Honorable Carolyn Hughley, to welcome our guest and bring him up.
Please welcome to the stage, Amy Spencer.
Hello, Columbus. My name is Amy Spencer, and I am a proud graduate of Columbus State University. Go Cougars. I'm also the mother of 2 teenagers. Last week, my oldest, my 18-year-old daughter, came home from the University of Georgia so she could vote in her very first presidential election. Together, we cast our votes for the President of the United States. I am proud to have voted for Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz. 8 years ago, in 2016, I saw our country become divided by Donald Trump's chaos and hateful rhetoric. I saw families torn apart, arguing over politics at the kitchen table. And in 2024, 8 years later, Donald Trump is still spewing the same tired, hateful rhetoric. A vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz is a vote for the future. They will ensure with their opportunity economy that all Americans won't just get by, but get ahead. Vice President Harris will restore women's right to choose and the right to make decisions over their own bodies. And Vice President Harris and Governor Tim Walz will create a more hopeful, a more united future for Georgians. Now, I grew up in a family of educators and coaches. And Georgia, let me just say, never underestimate a teacher. And never underestimate a coach. The best coaches inspire us and call on us to be the best version of ourselves, no matter how tall the task ahead may be. Governor Tim Walz embodies that. Governor Walz has always been a champion for his students, for his community, and for the people he represents as governor of Minnesota. It's that genuineness and that faith we can see so clearly that has so many Americans across the country believing in him and Vice President Kamala Harris. Columbus. Hope is on the ballot. And I'm so thankful we have a coach on our side to guide us to victory this November. So I am honored to introduce our coach for the next 4 years and the next Vice President of the United States, Governor Tim Walz.
Wow. Well, hello, Georgia. Wow, now I haven't got to say this much. It's great to be back in Columbus. Now, you might not know this, but 43 years ago, I started my military service out at Fort Moore. And so, a 17-year-old got on a plane, flew to South Carolina, drove on a bus, got off the bus and said, what in the heck happened to me here? So, but I'm grateful for it. Grateful for it. But here's the good news. Here's the good news in all of this. As people are maybe feeling a little bit of that anxiety or whatever, there's an antidote to that anxiety. And that antidote is Kamala Harris for president. So let's tell the story to those people who are undecided. Under her leadership, Georgia's gained 45,000 manufacturing jobs. The private sector has invested $42 billion in this state, including Bluebird's school bus manufacturing facility across town. And I might add, thank you to all of you, one of the biggest union shops in the South. And she's also offering us a positive new way forward, where she understands the economy works best when it works for everybody. Look, I couldn't be more proud to be on this ticket. Together, we've got a plan. Not a concept of a plan, a real plan to lower costs for families, put more money in your pocket, and make sure everybody gets the opportunity to get ahead, not just get by. We're going to lower the cost of groceries. We can take on the price gougers. Sanford Bishop will tell you this, when grocery prices were cheaper, our farmers were getting $4 a bushel for corn. When grocery prices are up, our farmers are getting $4 a bushel for corn. Somebody in the middle's taking the money and sticking it to you. And 100 million Americans under Kamala Harris's plan will receive a tax cut, including a $6,000 tax credit for every child their first year. We got, under her leadership, we negotiated with Medicare for prices on drugs, and we have a cap for seniors of $35 on insulin. We want to extend that to everyone. And for those of you in the middle, or those of you a little gray, if you're a little young and you don't think this resonates with you, trust me, when you turn 60, Medicare is what you talk about all the time to your friend. Because it matters, it matters. And what Kamala has proposed is, this is transformational, allowing Medicare to pay for in-home care for our seniors so they can stay in their homes longer. And to the seniors, they know this, to allow Medicare to pay for your glasses and your hearing aids, for goodness sakes. All these things put money into the middle class. Now, Trump came out with a plan that if we execute his plan, Social Security will go broke in 6 years. Now, Social Security might not be very important to a guy like that if you're a billionaire and your dad gave you $400 million and you pretty much squandered all that, but you can just limp along on $400 million, you know, these guys do. He doesn't care. He doesn't care that he gets a check. Now, he is nearly 80, so he does qualify for Social Security. He does qualify, but he doesn't give a damn. My mom cares, who's nearly 90. She uses her Social Security check that she paid into for a lifetime, my dad paid into, so she can pay her heat and her grocery bills. Kamala Harris and I will protect Social Security and Medicare and make it stronger. And you ever notice this, how they change? When they find out something's really popular, all of a sudden they're for it. Well, guess what? People like getting health care under the ACA. Now Donald spent a lifetime, his entire time in politics, saying he was going to get rid of the ACA. He tried 60 times. If it hadn't been for the courage of John McCain, he'd have got away with it. Well, let's be very clear. He will go after the Affordable Care Act, and for all of you, what that means is we'll go back to the old days where insurance companies decide that they're going to discriminate because you have a pre-existing condition. Even Donald could make money on that. Here's the scam. The insurance companies were allowed to insure who they wanted. Oh, they picked young, healthy people. The rest of us, oh, you broke your leg one time, you're out. You're a woman, you're out. That's a pre-existing condition. You got asthma, you're out. And then you actually have a legitimate claim. Some of you know this. How much damn paperwork you have to fill out to get the claim filed? What we know is we'll protect the ACA, making sure insurance companies aren't in charge of health care. You're in charge of your health care. And for the young folks here and those starting families, we know the most important purchase you make is your home. It's the most important security that you have. And we'll make it more affordable by creating 3 million more new homes, but also helping you with the down payment assistance and $25,000 down payment assistance. And those of you who have a dream of starting your own business, making sure the capital is there when you start, making sure we're focusing on that, making sure you get a $50,000 tax credit to get that new business off the ground. We get asked this all the time because guess what? We've got a plan. We're drawing it out. We're showing you what it is. They said, how would you pay for all that? Well, we could start by having Donald Trump pay his damn taxes to start with. So he brags. He brags about it. I know how to work the system. 10 out of the last 15 years, this guy hasn't paid federal tax. How does he think we pay our police, our teachers, fix our roads? He doesn't care about that. You do. That's why when we say we're going to make these proposals happen, we can do it and balance the budget, unlike what he does in terms of calling himself the king of debt and driving up our national debt. Now, look, we're giving you a plan on this. We know what that guy is, but we need to give you something to vote for, that clear plan. And so for those undecided members of your family, let me tell you exactly what Vice President Harris is proposing on this. A strategy for manufacturing that builds on those historic investments of the bipartisan infrastructure law. Thank you, Congressman, for that. The CHIPS Act. Thank you, Congressman. Science Act and the Inflation Reduction Act. And one that empowers American workers and revitalizing manufacturing communities, starting right here in Columbus, as the recently announced home of the first semiconductor manufacturer in the region, right here. Those are real jobs for real families. So we did this up in Lansing, Michigan. Senator Vance called that table scraps for people. 650 good union jobs that people use to put food on their table. He called table scraps and said they would pull that money back. We'll cut the red tape to unleash the full potential of American industry so we can build more factories faster than we have before. Manufacturing tax credits to ramp up investments that create more jobs in strategic industries that are essential to our growth and national security. And these tax credits will reward companies that guarantee workers the right to organize. And something we did in Minnesota, Vice President has talked about this, eliminating unnecessary degree requirements while increasing skill developments for 500,000 federal jobs. Folks in here, a goal of doubling the number of apprenticeship programs and other training opportunities. These lead to good paying union and good paying manufacturing jobs, and we'll do it by the end of the first term. And instead of doing what Donald Trump is, cozying up to these dictators, cozying up to China, we'll never let other countries like China undermine these investments with unfair trade deals. Look, that's a plan, not a concept of a plan, and I'm damn proud of it, so I'm going to stick with it. But I kind of shoot from the hip and speak where I'm at, so before I said they don't have a plan. They do have a plan, though, people. Because they did it. They wrote it out. It's 900 pages. It's called Project 2025. Now they're like, oh, I don't know what that is. I don't know. Look, I coach football long enough to know you take the time to draw up a playbook, you're going to run the plays. And that's what it is. And this playbook is a goddamn nightmare. I'm telling you, it is a nightmare. Project 2025, here's what it does. And the congressman can tell you how much damage this will do. It would repeal the bipartisan infrastructure law, the Inflation Reduction Act, threatening hundreds of thousands of new manufacturing jobs right here in Georgia included in that. These are building bridges, building roads. The biggest single investment since the Eisenhower interstate system. It was passed bipartisanly. It was moved forward. Donald Trump spent his 4 years telling us, oh, it's infrastructure week. Well, Sanford Infrastructure Week never came until Joe Biden and Kamala Harris got there, and that's why we have it. And then because Donald doesn't listen to experts, just like during the COVID pandemic, you've got good hospitals down here. I'm from the state of the Mayo Clinic. They told us how to handle COVID. Donald said, don't worry about that. Just drink bleach or whatever you need to do. Look, he doesn't know the economy either, and he's talking about establishing a Trump sales tax on everything from groceries to prescription drugs. The experts who know how this works said that will cost you and your families $4,000 a year. Now, Donald says China will pay for it. Oh, yeah, just like Mexico will pay for the wall. Yeah, you know. She knows. And look, that repeal in Project 2025, very clear, repeal the ACA, cut Social Security, cut Medicare. That's what the plan is, and it's written out. Now look, I know in this room, and I know you got neighbors who have this, you remember the Republican Party that added much to this country. You remember a Republican Party that especially knew how to stand with our allies and understood what freedom meant. That's not Donald Trump. That is not Donald Trump. What he means is, when he talks about freedom, he means government should be free to be in your exam room, to be in your library, to be in your bedroom. I know Georgia has the same rule we have in Minnesota. Things work better if you just mind your own business and stay out of mine. I don't want any politician in my bedroom, certainly not Donald Trump, I can tell you that. Look, when Kamala and I talk about freedom, this is pretty simple, and this is the old Republican Party. This is where independents are at. Freedom means that the government should stay out of those decisions. You should make them, and she believes that. Freedom for seniors to retire with dignity by strengthening Social Security and enhancing Medicare. It's a simple process. And I say this as not just a governor or a candidate. I say it as a father, as a teacher. The freedom to send our little ones in their best clothes off to school to be kids and learn without being shot dead in their classroom. That's what we need. I know this as a veteran, as a hunter, as a gun owner. Kamala is a gun owner. We know this. We can uphold, we all here, we can uphold the Second Amendment while upholding our first responsibility to protect our children. You can do both. Now, this is a great crowd, and it's mixed from young and old, but I'm going to take and split this crowd just a little bit. I'm going to talk directly to the men here for a moment. For all of you, the women that you love in your life, as you're thinking about this election to them, men, the women that you love and the women that are in here, for them, this election means their lives are literally at stake on how this goes. Donald Trump appointed those Supreme Court justices with the idea they were going to repeal Roe versus Wade, although they lied in their confirmation hearings and said they would not, but they did. He now brags about it. He is glad that my daughter Hope, your daughters, and those loved ones you're thinking about now have fewer rights than their moms did. More than 20 states, including your state, have a Trump abortion ban. He calls those a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. You saw it right here in Georgia. You know the story. Amber Thurman. Mom would say her name, and she would rather, these personal things, she would probably have rather us never heard of her, and she would damn sure, and her family wishes that she were alive and prays for that. But these decisions that were made forced that mother of a 6-year-old boy, she's a medical assistant, dream of becoming a nurse. But after Trump took down Roe, she was forced to wait 20 agonizing hours while septic shock stepped in. She needed the emergency care, but she couldn't get it. Her death was found to be preventable. I say as a parent, as a husband, as an American, as a dad, hell, as a human being, that is just sick and wrong and must stop, and must stop. These stories are happening all across the country. Women like Amber, who should have been making these decisions with healthcare professionals in the privacy of their exam room between them and their family, are now being forced out into the open to make these risky decisions. Women are being turned away at emergency rooms, miscarriaging in parking lots. Survivors of rape and incest being forced to carry those pregnancies. Fertility clinics now under threat from these people because they are not stopping with abortion. The idea, and I say this, I didn't want to have to talk about this. My wife and I spent years trying to have children. If you haven't been through infertility treatment, it is hell. I guarantee you, though, you know somebody who has. And the ability to access those treatments, to be able to have the family that we so desperately wanted, I will be damned if anyone in this country should be denied the right to have that family. So when we take back the House of Representatives, hold the Senate, and elect Kamala Harris, she will proudly sign that into law. Look, you came here because of love of country. You came here because you believe in the promise of America. We've got a week to go. We can win this thing. But I'm not taking anything for granted. So here's the deal. I did the coaching for too long. It's time for us to do that final huddle and that final pep talk, folks. Here's the lay of the land. We've got about a handful or 7 swing states. Inside there, we have a few counties. We're setting in one of those that can make a difference. That can make a difference, not just in Georgia, but in the entire country. Not just for the next 4 years, but the next 40 years. Not just for us, but for future generations. So here's the deal. This is a privilege to be here, to be able to do it. This game is tied. We got 2 minutes on the clock. But here's the good news. We've got the damn ball. We've got the ball. We're driving down the field. We're blocking and moving forward. And man, do we have the right team and the right quarterback in Kamala Harris. Now, all you ball players out there know, you get to the 2-minute warning, you're pretty tired. It might be easy to step to the side. It might be easy to take a breather. But this is the time when you dig deep. This is the time when we know that the privilege of being in this moment and being able to make a difference is on our shoulders. And as I've been saying, we got 7 days left. There's a hell of a lot of time to sleep when you're dead. Not now. Not now. Not now. So we're going down that field 1 inch at a time, 1 yard at a time. 1 phone call at a time, 1 door knock at a time. 1 vote at a time, and 1 neighbor's vote at a time. So I'm asking you, in Georgia, 1 or 2 votes can make a difference. My God, Georgia, I was asking the other day, we were not in Georgia, but I said, man, what did we win in Georgia by? And somebody said, I don't know, ask Trump. He was looking for those votes. So about 11,400 votes. Let's win by more than 11,400 votes. I will just share with you this. I mentioned this the other day to my wife, though. I said, look, I'll take any win on this. And wouldn't it be poetic justice of the universe if we win Georgia and it's by Jimmy Carter's 1 vote? So there we go. Georgia. Look, if you got a chance, go to KamalaHarris.com. But I'm going to ask, how many of you have already voted? All right. Early voting runs through Friday the 1st. You know that. If you've got a vote yet, you need to get in the mail, get it in. Don't wait. If you're voting in person, remember to go. Take that ID. If you don't know where to go, ask somebody in here to go to iwillvote.com/GA. Look, we're leaving it all on the field. I am not waking up on the 6th because I'll tell you what I want is, for some of you who are younger, someday it'll happen to all of us. I want to be sitting on the porch in that rocking chair, and I want some young kid to come up and say, tell us about what you all did in 2024 to save the democracy. And every one of you, when they ask you, what did you do? You're going to say, every damn thing I could. So as the vice president says, when we win. When we vote, when we vote, Georgia, let's do it. Let's go.